I want to share with you 3 simple rules, 3 simple principles that you can follow to get luckier in the 21st century. Because luck, it is not 100% random. There are things you can actively do to put yourself in situations where you might get luckier. And this is what this video is about. So the first thing you can do is to stop being an online lurker. And what I mean by that is that I would say 90 to 95% of people online are only consumers. They literally produce nothing, not even comments, not even DMs, literally nothing. They only watch and observe people who are creating, people who are in the battlefield where things are actually happening. But the thing is that when you're here and you're an absolute consumer, nothing can come your way. You cannot get lucky. You cannot make those connections. You cannot get those opportunities, because that's what luck is all about. It's about things coming your way, which usually comes through people that you know and people who know you. But if you're on the outside, things cannot bounce towards you. And the thing is that I'm not saying you have to start a YouTube channel, a TikTok account, create your own personal brand. You don't have to go to that extreme, but at least start leaving comments, start messaging people, join communities and groups. Okay, when you're watching a YouTube video, for example, like this one, and you like it, message the guy from the video. If you're on Twitter and you follow an account that you think it's super interesting, leave comments, reach out. Or if someone else leaves a comment on some video, some tweet, some post, whatever, and you like their observation, their comment, go and message that person as well. Join groups of accounts that you follow, that you find interesting, where you might meet like-minded people who share the same goals as you, and connect with them. For example, I have a school community. If you've been following my channel for a while, you've seen some of my videos and you like them. Obviously, the people who watch my videos and have subscribed, they have a similar mindset to what I have. So if you join my school community, you're gonna meet like-minded people who have the same goals that you have, probably. But you have to do something, right? You at least have to interact in the battlefield a little bit. So you have the possibility, you have to allow the possibility for something to happen, because you never know. You never know who you might come across. You never know who you might be talking with. That's the craziest thing of the online world, and that's why it's so beautiful, right? Even these videos, which don't get a lot of views, but you never know. If some of my videos have 200 views, a lot of people are like, oh, 200 views is not that much. But you don't know, like 200 views, that's a lot of people. That's 200 humans who watched a single video, and you never know who might be there. Some very interesting people have already reached out to me just based on this very small YouTube channel that I have. And even before I had this, I've already had throughout my life a lot of opportunities come my way before I had my personal brand, just because I was interacting with people online. I've had opportunities that have brought me tens of thousands of dollars, really good personal relationships, people who I've ended up meeting in person. I've traveled with some of these people to some other countries, and a lot of other amazing things. And for example, just a very silly, simple example, like 5-6 months ago, I was on a Telegram group of a guy that I follow, and I sent a message asking for the members of the group if they had some resources on how to learn physiognomy, because it is something that I was interested in. And there was this guy who, instead of just replying to my message on the group, he sent me a private DM, and he did a full face reading of me. He asked me like, oh, how accurate is it? It was extremely accurate, which I found very interesting. Then we started talking. Next thing you know, now we've been speaking almost every single day for the last 5-6 months. We've developed a really solid relationship. He has already brought me some opportunities, connections that have been really, really good. I've sent some his way. We've been exchanging a lot of good things. But that's the thing, at least I was interacting. And that's my point. You don't need to create a YouTube channel, you don't need to create a personal brand, but do something. Don't just stand there watching videos and consuming and doing nothing. Leave comments, message people, right? As I was saying, you have to create the possibility. At least the possibility has to be there for you to get lucky, because luck is always bouncing within the walls of the battlefield, but not outside. If you're outside of the stadium as a consumer, you're not gonna get lucky. Nothing is gonna come your way. Now, the second rule, the second principle is to adopt a gambler's mindset. Now, what I mean by this, I don't mean that you have to go to a casino. Okay, this is not this is not rule number 2. What I mean by that is that you probably have a lot of ideas of things that could work, but they're very low chance. And some crazy idea, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's some marketing campaign for your business, or maybe it's the fact that you want to launch a business. I don't know, maybe you want to create some online course, you want to run some crazy Facebook ad or some crazy TikToks, but you're like, I don't know, maybe it's like a 5-10% chance of working out, and you don't do it. Well, what I would say is that if things are not going that well for you yet, and you're not extremely busy, I would say that you should take as many of these as possible. Because if you only take one, yeah, for sure it's not gonna work. But if you take 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 20, 100, eventually one of them is gonna hit. And the thing is that the reason why they're low chance of working out is because they're high risk, high reward. So do anything, any idea that you have that right now you're stopping yourself from doing because you think like, oh, it's low chance, it's not worth it. No, you have to switch that. Go and do it. Now, I'm not talking so much in terms of risk, right? I'm not saying that, oh, I don't know, let me take all my life savings, go to the casino, right, and bet it all on red. That's not the kind of risk that I'm talking about. I'm talking about more risk in the sense of time, energy, experiments, right? Don't go crazy, don't gamble. That's what I said. I mean casino in the literal and metaphorical sense as well, right? For example, I don't know, if your savings, you have 50K in savings, don't go and spend it all on Facebook ads with some crazy idea. That's not the point that I'm trying to convey. It's just that all these small ideas that you think they're low chance and they're not worth to try, no, actually go and try them. Because also one interesting phenomenon that usually happens is that as you go through these silly ideas, eventually you get to your masterful idea, the one that finally allows you to break through. But if you're already winning and you have a good system and you're printing and everything's well, you don't need to do that as much. Still, I would allocate some amount of resources and time into doing crazy ideas and these sort of gambles, but it might not be as necessary. And then number 3, which I would say is the most important one, but that's why I left it for last. In fact, I've gone from the easiest one. The number 1 was the easiest one, then this one is a little bit more difficult, and 3 is the trickiest one. And this is to travel, okay? I assume that a lot of people, a lot of you might not be able to do this, because what I mean by travel, I don't mean vacation, okay? I literally mean moving to other countries for, I would say, at least 2 months. If you can do it longer, it would be better. If you can move to some other country for a year or 2, that would be ideal. Because I would say that when you go somewhere, it is not until you've been there for a month that your habits start to kick in. And then after a month, you start to go to the same places over and over and over again. You start to go to the same restaurants, the same cafes, the same gym. You have your routine, like maybe at 6 p.m. you go for a walk on the beach every single day. And the thing is that when you do that, you run up to the same people over and over again. And this causes familiarity and allows for the possibility to establish some form of relationship. And when relationships happen, that's where usually most of the opportunities come from in life, which basically is what we call luck. If you look at all the 3 things that I've said so far, what they have in common is that it's all about people. It's all about who you know, and even more importantly, who knows you, okay? Opportunities don't happen out of nowhere. Usually it's because someone gave you that opportunity. You were in a room where someone offered something to you. And for the travel one, what I would say is choose countries in which life happens to you without you doing much. And this is, for example, why I like Southeast Asia so much. Because when you're in places like Thailand, when you're in places like Bali, just by the fact that you live there, like there's so many things going on there. Or places like New York, you know, like these places where there's a lot of energy, things happening everywhere. The cool thing about those places is that even if you're not super extroverted, not super outgoing, just by the fact that you live there, life will happen to you. Because there are some other countries that are so dead and so dull, which they're amazing, right? But they don't have this intensity to them. If you're not proactive and you don't go out there to make things happen, nothing is truly gonna happen. But it really, really helps when you're living in one of these cool countries, and just by the fact that you go out there, when you go to restaurants, when you go to the gym, like you'll constantly be running up to super interesting people, you'll be invited to events, to parties, and it will be a constant inflow of opportunities, relationships, connections, which this is basically what we call luck. Many times in my life, I thought to myself like, man, how lucky, right? This happened and that happened. And you know, you have this massive domino effect. Like you meet this person who connects you to this other person. Then eventually now you travel with this person to this other country and you meet someone else and they offer you this deal. And you're like, oh, how lucky was I? But the thing is that you were the one who chose to put yourself in this situation that permitted luck to come in and bring you these opportunities. So, but first you have to be prepared. You have to put yourself there. So that's basically the whole philosophy behind how to create your own luck and how to get luckier. There's more rules, more principles that you can follow to get lucky, but I think these are the top ones, especially within the 21st century, right? I'm talking more about this digital approach to connections and getting lucky. So just to get started, these 3 ones, I would say they're solid. So anyways, that's it for this video. Join my school community, okay? You might meet some interesting people there. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave me a like, leave me a comment. Check this video right here. I'm sure you're gonna like it as well. But for now, that's it. And hopefully I will see you on the next video. Take care. Peace.